Hi, I'm Broxy, and in today's adventure riding tip, we're going to focus on braking. This might sound a little bit odd as my first point for hard braking, but we're going to talk about lines and steering. Basically, you need to be able to be perpendicular to the ground as much as possible when you're braking hard. So that might mean turning where there is traction and then straightening up where there isn't. Those lines are just as important on the gravel or the road as they are on the dirt. If you can get the bike perpendicular to the ground when you're braking hard, you can actually almost lock the front wheel up and it's not going to cause you too much grief. I personally try to turn the ABS off on the rear once I'm on the dirt or the gravel, but ABS is an amazing thing. One thing I try and keep in mind is not fight the ABS. You know, once you feel it starting to pulse, you just don't panic and pull it on any harder. If you just wait, eventually it'll get traction again and then you're sweet. On the subject of braking, straight away people are going to talk about how much front brake versus back brake. Personally, I feel like I can brake really hard on the front so long as I'm not turning much while I'm doing it. I think the back brake is important because it stabilizes you, but front brake is where it's at. When you get to the dirt, especially when it's slippery and you've got road tires almost, you need to be able to make the most of any kind of hollow or indent, any moment when your forks are going to be more compressed than otherwise. At that moment, you can exaggerate the compression by using more front brake because as your wheels are pushing into the ground, that gives you traction. The trick is to make sure that you ease off the brakes again the moment your forks are extending out again. Now, body position with braking. If you want to do it sitting down, that's cool. I prefer to sit forward because that means I can lean back further. But the real way down a steep downhill is to be able to stand up. Now, you have to try to bend at the waist. If you can get your hips rotated enough to keep a straight back, then you're going to be able to get lower to the bike. Your knees are going to be able to grip the seat, and that's really important down the hill. The best thing about it though is that you're going to be able to keep your arms bent. The moment your arms go straight on the steepest part of a hill, you've got nothing left. So standing up, bent at the waist, using those lines and using those hollows to wash off speed wherever you can. Of course, the greatest mod you could do before hitting a dirt downhill is to let pressure out of your tyres. Practicing your hard braking could save your life. On the gravel, suddenly you get an oncoming vehicle. What you want to be able to do is use your foot pegs, use your steering, anything you can to get yourself upright for a moment. Then you can brake really hard and then you can turn again when you're safe. One scenario that you might come across is deep sand, and you do have to be more careful on your front brake in deep sand. Rear brake should do most of the work, but it's just as important to keep yourself as straight as you can when you're going to be using your brakes in that soft stuff. If you've got some pretty good videos of you or your mate going down some pretty gnarly hills, then we'd love to see it, so post it onto this website.